Yeah, I do acting. You can see, I got like Shadow and Bone on Netflix or
That's a new one.
Barbarian 2
Yeah.
in part 2, season 2. And also I have a new show coming out in 2.5 weeks called Those About to Die.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So tell us about this, those about to die.
Those About to Die is a...
So today,
Uh-huh.
will you please tell us your name?
My name is David Wurawa.
And who is David Wurawa?
David Wurawa is an African man born in Southern Africa, Zimbabwe. I've been living here for 24 years. I'm an actor and also producer,
Yeah.
creator,
Yeah.
and a father.
Beautiful. So, darlings, as you already know, he introduced himself. Is David Wurawa. He is a known actor.
I do acting. You can see, I got like Shadow and Bone on Netflix or
That's a new one.
Barbarian 2
Yeah.
in part 2, season 2. And also I have a new show coming out in 2.5 weeks called Those About to Die.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So tell us about this, those about to die.
Those About to Die is it's a historical, well, it's a piece that plays on the historical contents of Rome.
Yeah.
Just after, I think, between 100 AD and 0 BC.
Yeah.
This is the construction of the Colosseum.
Yeah.
So it's a story that kind of focuses on the Roman games,
Yeah.
the intrigues, the political intrigues,
Yeah.
the sexual intrigues, and also the economical intrigues of Rome at that time, and also the religious intrigue
Okay.
of the Roman Empire at the
Okay.
time.
So that brings me to what's going on in Kenya today. What do you think the youth can do to better, and the government could do about the xenophobic act going on in Kenya?
I think for me it is an extremely sad state of affairs when Africans it's crazy, it's like crabs in a barrel. You know, this xenophobia, it doesn't help serve anybody anything. If you have nothing and I have nothing and we hop on a boat together and we have a direction to go to. Now when you start drilling the boat, you put holes in the boat, who's gonna sink?
Everyone's gonna say.
There you go. That's the concept of xenophobia. It doesn't make any sense. It's the most illogical bullshit, excuse my French. It's the most illogical thing that has befallen Africans. It doesn't make any sense at all.
What do you think is the solution here?
Well, the solution, and actually the problem is this. Xenophobia comes from a sense of feeling unempowered. You understand? The Africans know who caused them problems. They know who put them in a position that they are in, but they're so afraid to confront those people. So what they do is they turn on each other because the world marginalizes us. So it's easier for us to marginalize ourselves because the world has already said we are nothing. And black people, we bought this shit and we believe we're nothing. So we look down on each other. So what we do is, oh, I come from this and I'm from this tribe, so I'm better than you. It's the same situation they did in the Congo. When the Belgians or the Europeans colonized the Congo, they took one tribe and made that tribe ruler over another tribe for almost 100 years. And when the independence came, clever enough, because they knew over those years hate had created between these tribes. What did they do? They gave the power to the tribes that was the underdog during colonialism and gave power to that tribe. And what did that tribe do? It turned around and started attacking the other tribe, and the next thing you know, everybody's fighting. You know, in Africa, there's a saying: when elephants are fighting, who suffers? The grass and the ants. That's what we do. So the idea of xenophobia for Africa is the sickest thing ever. Anybody who believes in xenophobia, and you're black and you're African, you've been through colonialism, slavery, economic colonialism, anything, religious colonialism, if you believe in xenophobia, there is something mentally wrong with you.
So, the last question I have for you as an actor who has conquered a lot of sets, what do you have to say to the upcoming actors that are looking up to becoming known and topping their game?
Well, the beauty of Africa is this, which is, I don't know if it's an accident or it's not. The exclusion from the entertainment world by the rest of the world, let's say the Western world, has actually saved Africa, because we got so many stories to tell. If you look at the state of the stories of the world, they stymied. There's nothing new coming out. We're repeating the same shit, the same stuff over. But Africa still hasn't shown itself. So we're in a very good position. You see, my understanding of Africa is that we, to tell our story at this point in our process of recognizing our arts, of African arts and our African stories, we don't need stars. We just need a story. And once we have the story, you create stars of that story. You understand? Because we get so much stories. We got so much. We got from the north of Africa to the southern part of Africa, from the east of Africa to the west of Africa, the islands surrounding Africa. We have so many stories. And so I would say it is really a golden opportunity for African storytellers. And it is not something so complex, because if you look at Africa, we are storytellers. Our history is passed on from one to another. It's in our genes. It's a genetic thing. You understand? We tell our stories by song, by dance, by the food, by what we wear, by our conversation, by even when we talk, we're telling a full story. So story is in us. In our religion, there is story. So story is most definitely in the African DNA, and I don't think Africans should be afraid of approaching or attacking that process. We have all the tools to do it. We have all the tools. But what we need is the nations or the governments in Africa to actually take into consideration our arts, because arts is part of us. It's part of our being. It's part of our culture, and they need to finance and they need to find ways to help young artists come up and tell their stories. It doesn't matter whether male or female. It doesn't matter. Let's tell the story. So the biggest mistake we made in Africa, the biggest mistake, was playing the game that somebody else was calling the rules on. Everybody calling the shots. You know, it's like this. If you and me, we go into a poker game, right? You have a poker game, you're playing poker. But you got all the winning cards, and I got the losing cards. Shit, I ain't playing. You can play on your own. You understand? You know what I mean? Because I ain't playing. No, you go ahead and play on your own, because it doesn't make any sense. So if you look at the rules and the games, economical rules and the games that the Africans are playing, we didn't make those rules. Those rules were made by other people. So when we follow those rules, who dictates? The man who made the rules. Like they say, he who pays the tutor, he who pays the piper calls the tune.
Yeah.
Right?
You got it.
So in any way, I would say Africa is such in a beautiful place right now. We're in a beautiful place. We got everything. There are so many things that don't make any sense. How can oil be made in a land and those people in those land do not have electricity? It doesn't make any sense. And where, like here, there's no oil, but they got all the oil. There were never lights out here, never. It doesn't matter whether it's a friggin' 100th century snowstorm. It doesn't matter whether it's heavy rain. It doesn't matter whether there's a flood. Electricity is never out here, but they don't have a single oil well.
Thank you so much.
Does that make sense?
Whoa. Thank you so much. That was
My pleasure.
David Wurawa.
That's me.
Thank you so much, darlings.